Hey everybody, it's Jeremy. Let me get centered here. So I wanted to talk about something today. In case you haven't noticed, I like to talk about things we normally don't hear about or things that are kind of swept under the rug. Emotions. I brought up about, I don't know if I did it already, the alcoholism video, the DBT video, and how what we do and what we eat, what we put in our bodies affects various parts of our life, and emotions is part of that. Um, I suffer from depression, learn some things that do work and don't work. Um, One of the videos I'm going to wind up doing is on energy drinks at some point, because I have a problem with those as well, and I can tell you from first-hand experience what they do. But as far as emotions themselves are concerned, um, you hear about nature versus nurture. And sometimes it's caused by my girlfriend broke up with me, but what I'm talking about is the biology side of it. Because sometimes things can be dealt with what we value and or what we do like and don't like. You know, and the oh my god, my girlfriend broke up with me thing. And that's something, of course, it's normal to be upset, but to go downhill on that is our reaction. What I'm talking about is what goes on in our body, the stuff we can't choose on how we react. Can be defined as biological states associated with our nervous system brought on by changes, by functional changes in our neurology associated with what I thought, what I just said, our feelings, our behavior, learned behavioral responses, and a degree of pleasure or displeasure. We were given emotions by God, by life, whatever you want to call it. They were created to help us find meaning, to help us find what is truly important to our lives. I remember taking a class in my first run at college. I was a psychology major, and I took a class called evolutionary psychology. Taught by not that I really loved him, but he was a brilliant man, and he does a lot of studies today. He's a big name behind the scenes in publishing studies and psychology, what goes on in the world of, as far as organizations go. But it's what evolutionary theorists believe is that default responses of our minds and our bodies were a way to ensure safety, get needs met from others, provide information about what we need. Some of these evolutionary theorists and psychologists believe emotions are the fastest hardwired means of communicating and connecting with others. From my own experience having depression, I can tell you that sometimes emotions are a way for our body to reinforce something, to do that again or don't do that again. Guilt and negative reinforcement, or sometimes joy and positive reinforcement, help us to do that again or don't do that again. As humans, we're capable of learning. One definition that I found of emotional illness is a psychological disorder characterized by irrational and uncontrollable fears, persistent anxieties, extreme hostility. However, I find sometimes these definitions are incomplete. Doesn't take into consideration the ups, the downs, the guilt, the shame, our insecurities, and ability to face reality. And sometimes mental illnesses make things, they change what goes on. Sometimes, if a person's emotions go like this, sometimes emotional illness, you go up, you go down, like the bigger roller coaster. And emotional illnesses are broken down into two main categories. They can be broken down further, but there are two main categories. Mood disorders and anxiety disorders. Mood disorders, they're defined as your general emotional state or mood, and it's distorted and inconsistent with with what your circumstances are and interferes with your ability to function. And anxiety disorders, defined as feelings of anxiety and panic that interfere with daily activities, difficult to control, out of proportion to the actual danger, and can last a long time. We were given these feelings, like anxiety. They are. It can be innate in us, like given to us. Like when you see a tiger running your way, you got that fight or flight syndrome. It's when that anxiety gets out of hand, like interfering with daily activities, when there's no real danger. Or it's when you perceive a real danger. And I get this too. When I think something bad's going to happen at work, what is going to happen is this big, and what I think is going to happen is that big. And that's common with many people, especially people with mood disorders. I didn't look up how many people in our country have some sort of mental illness, emotional problem. Maybe for a future video I'll show that. But it's more common than you think. Again, I don't know the numbers. You can look it up. You can ask your doctor. You can look at the American Psychological Association, American Psychiatric Association for accurate numbers. There's people that don't talk about it. There is, and I don't know if I mentioned with the DBT video that there is. My mother likes to remind me of this. There is a very well-known singer who has something, who does DBT. I will not repeat this person's name, nor will I reveal this person's gender. They are out with it. The celebrity is out with it about bringing awareness to mental illness. And you have to see a doctor. There is no shame in seeing a doctor. There's more shame in having a problem and not getting help than not saying anything. There's more shame in having a problem and not getting help than when you come out with it and you actually get the help. There's more shame in not getting the help. Always go see a doctor. Mental health is no joke, and there are so many problems in our world that are often worse than with physical health issues. Many people need meds. I'm not a doctor. I can't give medical advice. But what I can focus on in future videos is nutrition and supplements that can be beneficial, and I can suggest to people. So if you have any questions, you can ask. But it's always dependent on what a doctor says. A small list of what I can suggest is staying away from artificial sweeteners. There are many artificial sweeteners in our country that are banned in most of the rest of the world. They're banned in 98% of the rest of the world in this country. And we have them in this country. You can drink green tea, which is very helpful. God provided us with many things that can help us. You want to drink natural green tea, the kinds you can find in a tea bag, not the kind in a plastic bottle that says Snapple or Lipton on it. You can get Lipton bag, and you put it in hot water. Take your omega-3s, which I mentioned in a previous video. More than 100% daily value, of course, on that one. Whole grains, magnesium. One of the last videos was methyl B12. You have to take that. Chromium, calcium, vitamin B6. Vitamin B6 is one of those ones that fall into an exception. If you can't pronounce it, you can't eat it. That's one that if you can't pronounce it, but you can take it. Take as much vitamin B6 as you can. Sunshine and vitamin D, very helpful. If you look at studies of Eskimos, now there's not a lot of sunshine in Alaska and where anywhere else up there. They have 24 hours. Come December, they get 24 hours of dark. But they eat a lot of fish. So they get their omega-3s and D from salmon. You can take iron, take zinc. The list is too long to go over in one shot. But what I do recommend is if you think you have some kind of issue and you want to look up some things that help, to get this book. I found this 10 years ago. I found it at a CVS. The Bible Cure for Anxiety and Depression. It has a lot of really great stuff about things you can take that help with depression. And I know I got some of the information on chromium out of this book. That's one of the ones you have to see a doctor, though, especially if you have diabetes. But there is more shame in having help and not getting it, needing help and not getting it, than having a problem and getting the help you need. If you have any questions, you can find me on the website, and hope to see you soon.